Okay, in today's class, we are going to treat theory of market structure. And on the theory of market structure, there were two issues that are involved. First is a market condition that is characterized by perfect informations, and the other one is market conditions whereby there is no perfect information or just an imperfect informations. So under market where the information is nearly perfect, and one major market stands, which is perfect competitive markets. So market competitive market is the market that has large number of buyers and sellers, and the products that each firm produce is identical or homogeneous to the extent that there is no way in which you could be able to distinguish between the product produced by different firms. For instance, you have about 10 firms, each is producing identical products. When it's taken to the market, in the absence of branding, it's not possible for you to say with certainty that this particular product is produced by firm A or firm B or firm C. So each firm is just producing the good and take it to the markets. So given by this assumption, whereby we cannot be able to make a categorizations or make certain attributes about the goods that is produced in the markets, then it is essential to understand that the quality of the products is identical, because if there is a variation in the quality, we can attribute the higher quality products to firm A or to firm B or to firm C, going by having the perfect information about how each particular producer organizes productive factors. But the quality of the products is identical because the produce is homogeneous in terms of quality, in terms of whatever, and the consumer has a perfect information. So second, another assumption is there is a freedom of entry and exit. Each new entrance, once there is economic profits, then it can induce them and attract them to enter and face the competition, whereby if there is no profits, firms can freely exit from the markets. So entry to the door to the entry and door to the exit is always open. Then each firm is assumed to be a price taker, because it's a market whereby large number of sellers are competing to get a market share from large number of consumers. So no way in which a particular firm will have a market power to control large fractions of the markets, because each produce is identical and no any preferential treatment, to the extent that each consumer is making his decisions whether to purchase goods and services based on competitive market forces. So given by these assumptions, the firm must be a price taker, must take the price in the market as given. Then how short-run decision is made? We all know that firms are profit-oriented. They wanted to maximize profits. Then how firms in a perfect competitive scenario maximizes their profits in the short run? It is good to know what is economic profit and how profit is being calculated. That will guide us to know the outputs that firm can produce where profit is maximized. First thing is, economic profit is a summation of what's total revenue minus total costs. In the preceding lecture, we know what cost is all about. The cost of organizing factory, which involve the cost of employing all the productive factors, each with its own rewards. The summations of all the costs per unit of outputs gives total cost, while the total revenue, price times quantity, we multiply price with the quantity, you obtain the revenue. So if you deduct cost from the revenue, you obtain what is called economic profits. So this table tries to give a summary on how the total cost is being driven, while the fixed cost is constant, doesn't changes, while the variable cost it changes as more variable factors are employed. Then the short-run total cost is additions of fixed costs with the variable cost. For instance, at Q0, when no output is produced, total variable cost is 0 and short-run total cost is 36. While at quantity of outputs 1, when 1 unit of output is produced, the total cost is fixed, which is 36. Then the total variable cost is 8. 36 plus 8 gives 44. So also when 9 unit of output is produced, given by fixed cost, which is 36, 90 variable cost, then the short-run total cost is 126. So in nutshell, short-run total cost is summations of total fixed cost with total variable cost, total fixed cost plus total variable cost. Then, like I explained before, that the puppet competitive firms are price takers. So revenue can be obtained by multiplying the quantity produced with the price. P times Q yields total revenue. So in this table, try to give a summary of figures that's made of the total revenue in the short run. The price is fixed, it doesn't change in a puppet competitive firm, which is 25 as in this case, while the total revenue, it changes as the quantity of goods and services produced changes. At first, when 1 unit of output is produced with price of 25 and the total revenue is 25, if the unit of output is produced, then 25 multiplied by 2, which is 50. It goes on when 8 unit of output is produced, given by a fixed price of 25, then 200 units of 200 total revenue is made. Then total revenue can be presented on a diagram. It can be seen that there, as output increases, then total revenue increases. There is a positive relationship between increase in outputs and the total revenue. You can see the curve slope upwards. There were 2 approaches to the profit maximizations. We can use total revenue and total costs. When you subtract the total cost from the total revenue, the profit, the leftover, the margin is economic profits. So where the margin is maximum, that's the region, that's the output that maximizes profits for puppet competitive firm. Here, for instance, you can see that the straight line is a total revenue curve, while the total cost curve, it decreases as more output increases. Then this after point that is highlighted in yellow, then you recall that in total cost it's always a U-shape because of diminishing marginal return. So the point where the 2 gaps is the maximum at output 9, that's where the firms maximize profits. And you can see that the place were highlighted between 126 to 225. And also in the table, it can also be established as at output 9, that's where the firms maximize the total revenue, which is 99. 99 seems to be the maximum profits. Then another way of calculating profit maximization is by using marginal principles. There's the marginal cost and the marginal revenue. Recall that in the preceding lecture, we defined marginal cost as increase in cost as a result of employing more unit of labor. As in the short run, all the factors are fixed, only labor that is variable factor. So increase in cost as a result of additional labor employed. So that cost that is attributed to increase in employment of labor is a marginal cost, while marginal revenue is nothing but change in total revenue as a result of change in output sales. When firm produce more output and sold it, then that increment that it will get from the total revenue is the marginal revenue. So firms do maximize profits when marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost, and we're going to establish it in the subsequent slides. We expected that the market should be in equilibrium where market supply is equal to market demand, and we have established it in our theory of demand and supply, and the marginal revenue curve is fixed, which is the same thing as price. You know, the price is constant, so all changes must be constant. Then the total cost, the marginal cost is a U shape, and it cuts the marginal revenue. Then the point of intersections, that's where the firms maximize its revenue. That's where firms maximize its profit. Then the concept of economic profits, how can we subtract the cost so that we can know that the magnitude of profit that is enjoyed by the firm? It is abnormal profit or normal profit, or the firm is even incurring loss. All these things are possible in the short run. So if we can have our average cost, the positions of the average cost at the point of intersections between the marginal revenue and marginal cost, then from here we can see that from 0 to 14, 9 to point C is the total cost of incurring 9 units of outputs, while the price is 25. So 0, 14, 0, 9 represent cost, while the profits is 25. The price is 25. So when you subtract 14 minus 25, then you will get 11. So 11 is the profits that perfect competitive firms enjoy, as in this case. So this profit seems to be economic profits. Then short-run decisions, short-down decision, firm can also shut down if it cannot recover its variable cost. First, we already mentioned in the theory of cost that fixed cost is a sunk cost. Firm doesn't usually consider sunk cost because it's a cost that's already incurred, so it's a bygone cost. So if firm cannot recover its variable cost, then it must decide whether to shut down or to continue production. But most of the firms, if they cannot recover their variable costs, they usually end up shutting down. So as in this case, you can see that the price is fixed, which is 25, and the output per minute is 9, and you can see that short-term variable costs were introduced in the market, which is below the short-run average total cost. So if price fall down below the average variable cost, let's say there is increase in cost in productions, the firm cannot recover its average total cost. Then firms can now think of whether to quit the industry or to remain. But in a situation whereby the price fall below the average variable cost, there is no economic reason that makes the firms to continue production. Otherwise, it will completely shut down from the industry. It can exit. So all these things we are trying to give more details on how the firm is incurring loss and whether the firms should continue in the market or not. So if the price, like here, when the price falls down further to 5, then the firms doesn't have any incentives to remain in the market. Look at the point of intersections between the average short-term marginal cost and the short-term average cost. And the firms, the price is very meager that cannot be covered the actual cost of production. Then the firms must stop operating and decide to shut down. Then short-run supply curve. Short-run supply curve is nothing but short-run marginal cost. So we can see that here this is the marginal cost at 4 units. I mean, when the price is 5, then the total 4 units of output were produced. When the price is 9, then 6 units of output is produced. And if the price rose to 25, then 9 units of output is produced. When you sum all this 4, 6, 9 gives total, gives short-run supply curve. So short-run supply curve is nothing but market supply curve. So you can see that this is the plots of short-run supply curve at different points in time, at 4, at 6, 7, 8. So it gives the short-run supply curve. Then in the long run, what happens to the market in the long run? You know, one of the features that we mention is there is free entry and exit. So far, if there is economy profits, then there is possibility for new entrants to start thinking of, no, these people are making profits. We have to also join in the competition so that we can get our market share. So economic profit is a motive that drives other firms to engage into productivity. So in such scenario, the firms, once there is economic profit in the market, then new entrants will enter, and more entrants will, more newcomers will enter until when the economic profits disappear. We are going to explain this with reference to long-run profit maximization output caps. This is long run. The market is in equilibrium where short-run supply curve equal to market demand curve, and corresponding to it, the price is 12. Then this is the short-run average total cost and the short-run market cost for individuals. Then we can drive the long-run marginal cost as follows. This is a long-run supply curve whereby different individuals that produce goods and services were summed up 350, 700, 1050 summations of all individual short-run supply curve. Then when short-run supply curve changes, what happens? Price changes. Then economic profits, as a result of economic profits, then more firms will start thinking of to flow into the market so that they can enjoy their own market share. This is the long-run supply curve. You can see the long-run supply curve is plotted. Then we are trying to drive the market equilibrium, and the market will enjoy. In the long run, there is no economic profit. The economic profit will disappear as the firms were constrained to produce goods and services where average cost is tangent to the point of intersection between marginal cost and the total cost. Economic profits will not be there, and there is no loss in the long run because all firms that are making loss will exit in the market. So long run is attained when the firms neither incur loss nor incur economic profits. So thank you very much. This is the end of the lecture. Hope in the next video we are going to discuss the market structure that's characterized with imperfect information. Bye bye. See you.